Hey guys, it's Brad. I'm here with Beth with Bites and Buzz, and we're here at Growler USA, located in Ballantyne, and we're checking out one of the newer, establishments that's in the area. Growler USA has only been open for 5 months, I guess. They've just gotten themselves going, but they have 100 beers on tap. And this is a pretty spectacular place when you consider it. 100 beers, and they're not just all North Carolina beers. They're from South Carolina, they're East Coast, they're West Coast, so they're all over the place. Matter of fact, one of the areas that got us interested when we found out about Growler USA is their opening locations. This was the first one for the company that's actually opened up, but other locations are opening up. One's going to be in Honolulu anytime now, definitely by July. So, Growler USA, we're going to head inside, and then Beth is going to introduce us to the owner, and then we're going to find out a little bit more about what's going on here at Growler USA. So, great little location, pretty good little bar here. So, working our way up. So this is their tap room. They got, like we said, 100 beers on tap. 100 beers, and it's always a constantly changing rotation of beers, and it's not all South Carolina or North Carolina beers. They're from all over the East Coast and the West Coast, and they got a lot of stuff going on. So tell us what's the address here, Beth?
The address here is 12206 Copper Way, and it's in Ballantyne. So it's got joint parking with a bunch of other businesses, and so parking's not a problem.
And they got a lot of food here, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But okay, cool. So now we're going to introduce you to Matt. Matt is the owner, general manager of our facility here in Ballantyne, and he's been open, 5 months?
5 months.
So tell us a little bit about what got you into this business, and tell us what makes this one of the great places to come visit.
Well, Charlotte's a pretty unique place. We've got over 20 breweries now open here, and I live down in this side of town. And for us to enjoy the craft beer experience, we have to go 13 miles up to the breweries. And I was just looking around, and it felt like there was something missing. Mm-hmm. So I scoped the market out and found this brand new franchise called Growler USA. They're based out of Eugene, Oregon. They were just getting going, and they had the opportunity to be the very first non-company-owned store. So we opened up on January 30th, and we've just been making people happy with beer.
Happy with beer, no doubt. You got 100 brews on tap.
We actually have 104 taps.
104?
We've got 100 behind me, and then we've got a kegerator down at the end of the line there that holds red wine. But every brewery that comes through, we ask them if the brewmaster has beer that they would like served at past temperature. So Southern Tier brought us down their four-legged woolly mammoth, which is a Belgian quad that we keep at 50 degrees, which is beautiful.
Wow. So 104 beers. Now, how do you get these beers? I mean, they're from all over the place. You have to, try every one of them?
Well, somebody has to, yeah. So it might as well be me.
Oh my God. And how often are these taps switching over? 104, they're coming and going, so it's probably a full-time job. I don't know how you stay stable.
Well, Monday through Friday, the front door is like a revolving door. The distributors are coming through, the breweries are coming through, try this, sample this, we're coming out with that, and we're making our selections.
That's amazing. Now, before we move on to another topic, you actually have food at this establishment,
we do.
too.
We have a full menu.
You got a full menu.
So this is a microbrew pub. So we have a full pub menu.
Full pub menu, and 104 different beer choices on that. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So let me ask you this. Why would a person want to come here as opposed to going directly to a brewery where they can try out the newest beers or just the bar down the street? What makes coming to Growler USA different from, just going into Harris Teeter and buying a bottle of beer?
I'd like to think there's a couple things. Number one, the overall selection, which we can talk about. Number two is our people. All of our people are Cicerone certified.
What is Cicerone certified?
So they've gone through like a sommelier for wine. They've learned how to distinguish certain beers. So we love when somebody comes in and says, oh my goodness, 100 taps, what do I do? And we start the process of trying to understand, what do you like? What do you normally drink? What do you feel like having? And we sample out until we find that right thing that meets what you're looking for on that particular day.
So what you're saying is, okay, I'm a Bud Light drinker, and I love Bud Light, but I also want to figure out, something else. So if I came in and said, I just want a light beer that's like a Bud Light or a Blue Moon. Blue Moon's another great example. We can find that in a lot of locations. I mean, what would one of your Cicerones or yourself do to direct us towards a type of beer so that we can discover different tastes and stuff?
Well, some of them are pretty obvious. Like if you say Blue Moon, that sends off a signal to us that we pretty much know what you're looking for. So Catawba White Zombie, Allagash White, they fit that profile. We'll sample it out, and people have their eyes bug out. They go, "Wow, exactly, it's Blue Moon, but wow." Or, we've got Unknown Pregame, which is like a Stella. So we have a couple of go-tos that we always have on tap. And in Charlotte, we built up this amazing culture where people will walk in and say, "Do you have copper?"
Right.
Who goes in and says, a brand of a beer, copper? But
Right.
that's the culture.
It's like Kleenex.
Yeah, that's what we created in Charlotte. People come in and say, "Do you have copper?" Sure we do. So it's an investigative process, and we love when somebody comes in and has that look like, I don't even know where to start.
Well, I mean, especially when 104 taps. But you also, will let people sample it out until you can figure it out. So if I took a sample of, a New Belgium Ranger IPA and I didn't like that, and then I took a sample of the Great Divide Colette and I liked that, you could actually find something in between that might be something similar on that.
Right, and another way to attack it is, hey, why don't you do a flight, a tour? So you can try 6 different beers, 4.5 ounces, 5 ounces of a bunch of different beers, and we like to recommend that you do it inside a style. So, okay, today I want to do a flight of IPAs.
That's good, because and the reason that's important is once you have IPAs, if they're strong, they can actually kill your palate for the day.
If you mix and match, we always say do the IPAs last.
Right, exactly, and go from there. So anyway, I know you've got to get running, so show us around. Point out some of the things that you think are impressive. If there are any beers in particular.
The tap system.
Yeah.
Everything is micromatic, stainless steel. It's really important that we use the right tools. Mm-hmm. We have a short draw system, so right behind that wall are the kegs. So the beer goes from the keg right out to the glass.
You're not wasting a lot of beer to the lines, yeah.
You see that our tagline is true to the brew. Everything that we do stays to that tagline, true to the brew. The way delivering the beer, the way the brewmaster intended it to be delivered. So the cooler is at 37 degrees. Ooh. Inside there are water lines that wrap around the inside of the cooler 3 times. So that drops it down to 37 degrees. Sprayers here before we set the glass are at 37 degree water. So the glass is the same temperature as the beer. So by the time I put it on your bar space, it's rising up to 38 degrees, which is optimal to drink beer.
Wow.
So it's a whole process. Now, the one thing that everybody should be concerned about and ask about is how often are the lines clean.
That's very important. Yeah.
It is, and a lot of people don't think about it, but every 2 weeks, all the lines are clean. So the beer is fresh. Any given week, we're turning over 30 to 40 of our kegs. So can you imagine a business model that turns 30 to 40% of its inventory every single week?
Wow.
So the beer is fresh. Now, sometimes you're not going to find the same beer this week that we had last week. A lot of it's based on availability.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing about craft beer. You've got your staples, but you never know. I mean, and they're seasonal, so they'll change out, and it makes it also good for experimentation. So you might have one IPA this week, and you can get a different one the next. But like you said, come in with the expectation of trying a different type of beer style, and that's where your flights come in. And I think that's pretty impressive.
Well, it is, and it's fun because people who follow us on Tap Hunter or Untappd, they'll see what we're doing, and they'll make their way down. Like, oh my gosh, you have that available now? I better get there before it runs out.
That's true. And if you follow Tap Hunter and Untappd, well, Tap Hunter especially, they will send you notifications when beers change over.
Yes.
I think Untappd's starting to do that as well.
They are. They're not there yet.
They're not there
we
yet.
Use Tap Hunter, our monitors.
Yeah.
We show our menu up above. They're all hooked up to Tap Hunter.
And that's fantastic. So anytime that happens, if you're following you, it's going to change over on your app. It'll pop up, and then to show up, and then you can actually look up the beer and find out what people are interested in. And was this a good one? Yep, let's go try it. So exactly. So all right.
You want to go get cold?
Let's go get cold. So we're going to head back in the back, and here. So they just had an event with New Belgium. And they did a big bike giveaway for their anniversary, and there's some more of the place there. So we're going to head back here, and we're going to try out the freezer. So this is where all the fun action happens. Look at this. Wow. Look at that. It is real cold in here. I mean, heck,